Hey bestie, and welcome to the newest episode of the Plobcast. As always, this podcast is not for little ears. I am unmonetized on here, so we get very uncensored. Speaking of, before we jump into the GameStop story videos, I am going to cover the two cheaters in Orlando real quick for everybody who was asking. Since TikTok censored me, I'm going to do that at the beginning of the podcast that way, and I'm going to put in a video the timestamps so people can just come and hear that for those who wanted the details, but I couldn't post them on TikTok because guidelines would take them down. I'll also put the timestamps in the video, if you are able to see it, of when the GameStop stories will start in this podcast, since I don't know until I've recorded it. That way, those who don't care about the Orlando situation can just skip right into the GameStop stories too. Also, just a quick apology if there's any background noise. Once again, I'm on vacation. I'm literally recording this from a hotel bedroom. Well, Airbnb, condo, whatever. It's one of those sweet things, because all the Airbnbs that we usually book were taken because we booked last minute because the Army didn't do the final stamp of approval till last minute, so I couldn't book until the last minute. So let's get right into the Orlando situation, the cheating husbands, manipulative pieces of crap. So if you did not see the videos, we'll do a quick summary. I was at Seuss's Landing. I was injured, so that's why I was literally messing with my Band-Aid and stuff, because I had somebody, when I went to get off one of the rides, they stopped abruptly and turned around real quick to say something to their friend, and it made me stop real quick, and I ended up busting my leg. I've got a big old bruise, cut up. They had to have first aid come over and security to do a little incident thingy. So this was a couple hours after that, and I noticed it was bleeding out of the Band-Aid. So I am over by the bathrooms. I'm not in the bathroom, but I'm over beside the Seuss Landing bathrooms, and I am messing with it while my husband had taken the kids in the bathroom, and I hear these two guys who are right beside me. They're about 5-10 feet away, but they're over here. They are drinking and having this conversation, bitching about their wives, which at first is okay, whatever, a lot of people vent about their partners if they're exhausted or aggravated or whatever. But then I start actually listening to what they're saying, and they are going in depth about how they cheat on their work trips and how they literally will volunteer for any kind of work conference or whatever, and how they have set fake names that they go by on these apps, and how they have very particular pictures that they take off of their Facebooks, so that if they get caught, and they make sure that they never verify their Tinder profiles. That way, if they get caught, they can say, oh, somebody stole it, like somebody's catfishing or whatever, and that they use a different name, and they put that they work somewhere else. They said, I can't remember the exact name of the company, but they said there's a particular company that's their competitor that they use. That way they can say, oh, it's one of my competitors, because they usually have events too around the same time for different convention crap for their field of work. They also start giving each other manipulation techniques. They're bitching about their wives and their kids, and talking about because I only go because she wants to go, and blah blah blah. Whenever, that's the only reason we come to this, because the park. That's the only reason we even stay longer, and just bitching, right? But then they're trading techniques on how to manipulate. For example, allergies. So the one guy, the one in the tan t-shirt, which we're calling husband number one, he is the one that we have found so far. He is talking about how his wife is wanting him to do basic things. He's like, yeah, the other day she asked me if I could load the dishwasher, and I couldn't believe that. I was trying to watch, he was trying to watch some sort of sports. I can't even remember what he said. He was trying to watch some sort of sports shit. I didn't, I recognized that it was a sports team, but I couldn't remember recognize what it was from. And I do know major sports teams, so I'm guessing it was something small, but he was talking about the game, and how she had asked him to load the dishwasher at some point, and watch the kids for her to do, take a shower or something. He was like, yeah, I can't believe she's asking me to watch the kids, so she can do something once I get off work. She knows I just work, blah, blah, blah. And the guy in the Hawaiian shirt literally looks over at him and is like, oh, just make sure you really mess it up. If you're watching the kids, make sure that you let them do all kinds of crazy stuff. Or if you go to load the dishwasher, do it wrong. Is telling him, yeah, just do it really bad, and then she'll never ask again. Literally teaching him weaponized incompetence. And Lord, this man's eyes lit up. The guy in the husband number one was like, oh, great, that's a great idea. So husband number two is the one we're still looking for. But we have found husband number one. I posted it on TikTok. I was super upset that I did not get a picture because I was literally messing with my leg. And then when I finally got done and I go to look up to grab a picture, they are both speed walking back over to their to wherever they were going. And I was like trying to pull up the camera real quick and everything and unlock my phone, and they were gone into the crowd before I got a chance. I wish I had ran over and caught them, but my kids and my husband were coming out of the bathroom at the same time, came over. There was a group of younger girls, like 19, 20. They were all in athletic wear that were standing there watching this conversation too. They were all, you could tell they were looking like, oh my gosh, are you hearing this too? We made eye contact and like we were all kind of like, oh my gosh. So I'm really hoping we can find them and that they recorded part of this, because like they all had their phones out, and I'm praying we can find one of them so that we can connect, because we did find husband number one. Unlucky contestant of cheaters getting caught at Universal is husband number one, which is the guy who was receiving the advice. He was the one with the tan t-shirt. Husband number one, we found him because I posted that video, and a friend of the wives saw my video and was like, holy shit, my friend just posted her family, which, by the way, this man has daughters, which, dear Lord, I don't know what's worse, is the daughters seeing a bad example of like a man treating them like shit and thinking it's okay, or, sons, if he had sons and the sons were being taught that this was okay. Either one's bad. The fact that shitheads like this have kids. But the friend had seen husband number, who is friends with the wife of husband number one, had seen this picture of them literally at Seuss's Landing. They were at Seuss's Landing in that exact outfit there for a work conference. And she reached out to me and was like, hey, I think this is my friend's husband. And she sent me a picture. We connected on Facebook and was like, hey, this is, and I looked and I was like, yes, that is the guy. Like, that is literally, the fucking 100 feet from where this happened. It was clearly earlier in the day because this happened later in the evening time. It was like around 8:30. So the picture still had daylight. So I'm guessing it looked about an hour before. Me and her have a conversation, the friend does, and she decides, because they are flying home today, they literally flew home today, on Monday, that she is going to just go meet the friend at her house. She literally showed up. So the friend got back to me, and I'm going to, like I said, this will be on TikTok to let people know the update. The friend gets back to me and she's like, yeah, I'm going to go over to her house when she gets there. And she messaged me and told me the full story, what happened when she went over there. So the friend goes over to the house literally as they're like pulling in, and she's like helping them with their bags, and it's like, oh yeah, take the kids in the other room. And then she pulls the friend aside first to have a conversation. Like the friend pulls the wife aside first to have a conversation. Turns out the wife has been suspicious for a while. So the wife actually contacted a divorce attorney about a month ago. The husband has no idea. They were having a conversation. The divorce attorney and the wife have been having a conversation. They had not filed yet, but she was waiting for, she wanted some sort of proof or something. That's why I'm still trying to find those girls. That was the final straw that broke the camel's back. She will be officially filing for divorce now after seeing the video and seeing the fact that there's also a Universal employee who commented. And there's a few actually that commented, but one of them in particular was like, yeah, so this company right here has these work events and blah, blah, blah. And it was his event. Sorry, his company, his company's event that he was, well, not his company, but he is an employee of the company. You guys know what I mean. They also confronted the husband. So together, the friend and the wife confronted the husband and was like, hey, so people overheard this conversation and everything. And he full on just starts admitting it. He apparently at one point when they were yelling about it, he just starts being like, yeah, I've been cheating on you this whole time. For reference, these were high school sweethearts. They've been married 11 years. They've been together even longer. They have these 2 daughters. And he just starts admitting to cheating on all of these work trips. He is not even trying to deny it. He is just straight up. He gave way more detail than I gave in the video, which is really suspicious to me, that he would be so quickly to openly like admit it. I even told her, I was like, if he's admitting to cheating over a dozen times, then it's probably been over a couple dozen times, just to be honest. And we had a conversation about it, and he had admitted to them about like all of this dirty stuff too, about how apparently they like to go to oh god, they full service strip clubs. So they're not like brothels, but they basically are, because brothels are the legal places. They will like the husband and apparently several of the other work guys that he's gone on these trips with, because if you did not see, the husband number 2 does not work at the home office with husband number 1. So husband number 2 works at a different office. There's several of the guys apparently within this company though that go out and cheat on these work trips. But husband number 1 is telling the wife, hey, we literally go to like these will go seek out strip clubs where you can pay for full service too, on the down low. So not only does he cheat with strangers on Tinder, that they have this whole system that they do, he also is out here hiring prostitutes. He admitted to her like that the money, that's why he pulls out so much cash and blah 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 beforehand, and just admitting to all of this shit, right? The insanest part of this whole thing, though, is when confronted about, hey, who was the guy in the Hawaiian shirt? Who is husband number 2? So we can let the wife know. This man tells the wife and the friend, I don't want to break up a happy home. I'm not trying to break up a marriage by telling on him. I'm not telling you it. Literally is refusing to tell us who the other guy is for us to warn. Is refusing to tell the friend and the wife, doesn't want to break up a home according to him, which, dude, you already broke up your own home. What the fuck do you mean? Like, what kind of piece of, what the fuck is, I feel like he's doing that so he can convince himself in his head that he's not a complete piece of shit. So he can be like, oh, I'm only half a piece of shit because I'm not snitching on my friend. No, you're a piece of shit. Like, that is next level. What the fuck? Like, piece of narcissistic bullshit. That's what that is. Like, guys like this are in women. There's women that do this too, so I want to be clear. It can be women or men. But people who do this, when they are like, oh, I'm going to keep this tiny bit of value, like this tiny bit of moral, I'm not going to snitch on somebody. It's because they're trying to convince themselves in their head. That way they can tell themselves, oh, I wasn't a total piece of shit. That they can be like, oh, but I didn't snitch, so I guess at least I'm a good friend. Which I swear is worse than just regular pieces of shit. Like, if you're just going to be a dickhead or an asshole, just be a dickhead or an asshole. Like, don't do this weird morally gray bullshit where you have to manipulate yourself into convincing yourself you're not a bad person. Like, you're a shitty person. You're a shitty person. It does not, none of that, oh, at least I'm a good friend shit, no. So I did delete the comment of the Universal employee that said the exact. I screenshotted it for her but then deleted it because she was concerned. She was going to comment on it. She was concerned about him losing his job because he insisted on her being a housewife. I actually would love to have her on here at some point I'd let her know if she was interested, if she ever wanted to tell her story. But she right now, because of that, and needing the insurance and the income that comes from him in this economy, it does not want to risk him getting fired. So please, if you are one of the Universal employees that was commenting, or you knew about the work convention, please do not continue to comment that. I did delete those after screenshotting them for her, and she screenshotted them too. Just please don't comment the workplace, because she wants to make sure there's still that income. She's worried about him getting fired, especially with the other husbands and stuff that apparently are also cheating and doing all of this shit. She's worried about like retaliation. This is another prime example of why I tell people, if somebody ever, like, if your partner is super insistent on you not pursuing your dreams, because she said she was in college when they got married and stuff. They've been together since high school, and then they got married in college. Like, she dropped out of college for them to get married. Please never do something like that. Always pursue your education, your dreams. Even if you're like, oh, I'm going to be with this person forever, even if you do stay with them, even if it is a death do us part, you never know. They might lose their job, or there could be a situation where they pass away. Unfortunately, bad things happen. Like, it's really sad to think about, but it is important to never give up on also, you shouldn't be giving up on your dreams or education for anybody. If anybody, man, woman, person, the family member, friend, anybody tries to stomp on your dreams, tell them to go fuck themselves, because someone that truly loves and cares about you is always going to support your dreams and not try to, get you to give up on them for anything. So hopefully we find husband number 2. We keep looking. I have also, for those of you who watch my live stream monthly donating, I will be for the domestic violence shelter. I did offer her anything I make from that video about her husband, though, which with TikTok is like $50, even though it's a viral video. That's like all that's given, because TikTok gives shit. Like I make like $3-4 of videos sometimes. Like it's basically nothing if I make that. But this one did make like $50 or so. So I let her know. I was like, I offered it to her if she wants it. She hasn't responded about that yet, but hopefully we are going to be. So somebody did save it to LinkedIn, so we're going to be looking through his LinkedIn and everything and try to find that guy, the one in the Hawaiian shirt, husband number 2, so we can let his family know too. I also find it extremely ironic that this guy is trying to be so loyal to his friend but couldn't be loyal to his wife and kids. Well, now that we are done with sorry if that spiked up the volume for a second. Didn't mean to do that. But now that we're done with the Orlando Wild Circus update, let's get into the GameStop plob stories, or plob in general stories, because Lord, if you did not see the video with the picture, this is your last chance to not eat. So, if you did not see this week, actually, this trend's been going on for a couple of weeks now. There's this thing where it's like, come to the land of whatever. It's a little song, and the video starts out with somebody being like, oh, I'm scared to go to this person's room, and it'll be their name. So it'll be like, if I did it, it'd be like, oh, I'm scared to go to Ribbon's room or whatever. And then I'd show a video afterwards of a crazy room. And that is what people were doing. And they were supposed to be depression rooms. Here's the thing, is there is a big difference in a depression room and a hoarder plob. And there was one in particular that started going viral that, oh my fucking God. So first of all, I did dig through the person who posted this page. And of course, they are a video game addict and a mega weeb and stuff. And they are a plob. And in this video that they showed, though, they showed what they called a goon curtain. And if you don't know what gooning is, once again, it's, the Gen Alpha version of fapping. It's jerking it, it's jerking off. And what this goon curtain is they have a curtain in their bedroom, like in their window, that they have been jerking off onto, that there's probably in this picture, if you go see the video, or if you go like my video with the picture, or if you go see the original, there's like over 100 spots on there where they have coated the entire curtain in their room with cum. They're just excessively jerking off. They also have these little girl anime figures in their room. Like I said, I looked at the account that posted its other videos, and they've got some questionable anime figures and shit, and like video games and stuff. This guy is literally just sitting there jerking off onto a curtain repetitively in his nasty hoarding room. That entire trend, though, trigger warning for nausea, if you go to look at that trend, because that goon curtain wasn't the only, that was the worst thing that I saw on there, but it was definitely not the only like bad thing. You could definitely tell there's the ones that were genuine depression rooms and the ones that were plob hoarder rooms. There was several with bags of shit, with piss bottles all over, and you could tell there was one in particular that you could tell it was probably 2 or 3 months worth of piss bottles. They had like bottle after bottle. They had well over 100 bottles, and they were full. They were filling them up, and they were like in the comments talking about how, if they don't fill it up the first time, they'll just piss in it again. Like the dude was just admitting, yeah, he like fills them up to the top so that he can he was like, I'm reducing waste. No, you're not. He was like, yeah, I don't want to have to get it. He admitted that he didn't want to get up from his video games to piss. Apparently he's super into the VR world. He put in the comments that he does a lot of Marvel Rivals and the VR world stuff. He was naming off certain VR chat. I don't remember exactly what it was, but also Fortnite, and that's why he obsessively pisses in his room. But he was like, oh, but at least I'm not reducing waste by filling it up. I use them multiple times until they're full. and there's at least 100 bottles. So I'm like, if you're doing this 2 or 3 times, that's got to be a couple months worth of piss. He also had some bags of shit, Walmart bags. He was shitting in Walmart bags. The deeply concerning part of, like, the one, well, I mean, it's all deeply concerning, but the part that was even, like, made it worse is I was looking, oh God, it was so gross, but I look, I used to work in trauma, I've seen it all, but I was looking at the TikTok video, and when he flashed over the shit bags, like the Walmart bags of shit, I paused it, and then I zoomed in on the bags, and I noticed that you can see, like, the brownish, blackish spots through the, like, gray Walmart bags, like, where the shit is, but I didn't see any white, as in, like, toilet paper or wipes or anything. I just saw shit from what it looked like, and I'm like, so not only are you shitting in bags and pissing in water bottles, and the craziest part is he had, like, a really nice room. Like, if you looked past the nasty trash and stuff, he had a nice room. It most likely looks like it was in, like, a new build house, like a nice new house. And so, like, clearly dude's got a bathroom. He even said he had a bathroom. He's like, well, the bathroom's was down the hall, though. So not only are you pissing and shitting in your room and hoarding it for, like, God knows how many weeks at a time, but you're also not even wiping. What the fuck? I will say, speaking of hoarding plob rooms, I don't know if anybody saw the plob parents this week. Their video, it had like 900,000 likes, so it definitely had at least like 4 or 5 million, because like ratios and stuff, views, a few million. Definitely, whoever posted that's getting a check off that for sure. But it was like a cop POV video. Like, it had body cam footage and stuff, and it had multiple body cams. It said somebody had taken multiple body cam footage and put it all together of these plob parents. And when they first sent it to me, because I had a follower send it, I'm like, oh, this is just like a really sad, horrible neglect case, like a neglect and abuse case. But they had put in the caption, they were like, look carefully at what some of the stuff is. And I'm like, what? So I'm watching it, and I realized there's a fucking PS5 in this video. There's a PS5, and I saw multiple games, and I saw multiple GameStop bags too. So in this video, if you've not seen it, just warning, if you end up coming across it, it is very heartbreaking and very, especially when you're like looking at the details of this, it's a horrific case. It is a case of child neglect and abuse. And the fact that the GameStop bags pissed me off so badly, because it's another example of, similar to what we saw with Drew Jenkins, with putting video games above the well-being of your children and everything. So it starts out, they go in, and it's these two parents that look like they haven't showered in like months. They go in, and the house is like, they're struggling to get through it because it is such a hoarding mess. There's piss and shit everywhere. There's multiple kids. There's multiple animals. Stuff is hoarded up to the ceiling. You can see the mold in it. You can see feces, urine, vomit. Like, you were seeing the works. They open the fridge, and it's like all molded and nasty. The cops end up putting them in cuffs, and the kids come out. The kids were crying before the cops even got there. You could hear them crying in the background. Apparently somebody called in a wellness check, or I'm not sure exactly what it had. Like, somebody said it was a wellness check. Somebody else said it was like a coworker, or somebody else said it was a teacher. So I don't know exactly how the cops ended up there, but they were there to check on the kids, right? You can hear them calling in CPS and everything. And you're watching this body cam footage, and it is so insane because you are seeing this hoarding mess. First of all, I wanted to punch the parents in the face, not just for the neglect that they clearly were putting their children through, and also the kids looked tiny, even though the parents, did not seem, I'm not trying to like fat shame or anything like that, but you can tell the parents weren't starving, but you could tell the kids were, if you know what I mean. And to be clear, that is, like I said, I have no problem. You can be as big as you want. Maybe I've got an ex who was literally over 400 pounds when we dated. As long as you shower, which applies to everybody, because skinny people can be smelly too. But there is something about seeing a clearly plus size parent with a child who is so starving and neglected that they are, like skin and bones. It's like, you clearly didn't forget to eat, but you forgot to feed your child, apparently. Like, the gluttony of it, the neglect. Like, you want to be plus size, that's fine. But your kid needs to have enough food that they're not over here starving. Like, the fact that you're clearly eating and they're not is where the issue comes in. Because it's, there's situations where, there's, oh gosh, what is it called? Like, food insecurity and stuff. Like, I grew up with that. I grew up, the kid that sometimes we would eat school lunch on Friday and then not get anything until school breakfast on Monday. But that was a matter of not affording it. And, so watching this, they are going to they're arrested. They're putting them in cuffs. They hadn't arrested them yet, but they're putting them in cuffs to detain them. And they start crying and freaking out. And they're like, oh, why? I didn't do anything. Their child is still crying 5 feet away, standing next to a fucking GameStop bag that you can see in the background. Their child is like 5 feet away from them crying. They were crying before the cops got there. Like I said, you could hear them before they came in. But they don't even ask about their kids. They don't reach out for their child. There's a lot of situations where you'll see a parent get arrested in front of their child. And they are usually, like we just saw the one that went viral with the ICE situation. And the mom is literally like, in tears trying to go towards her child and stuff and concerned about her child. But these neglectful piece of shit parents, video game addicted plobs, are fucking ignoring their children that are crying, and they're more worried about them. They're like, oh, I can't go to jail. Why am I getting arrested? I didn't do anything. Yes, you the fuck you did. Also, they were trying to say, they were like, oh, we just moved in a week ago or a week or two ago. And I'm like, there's no fucking world where you hoard that much shit in less than 2 weeks. Like, you could tell mold in food and like all this nastiness, like, they've been there for a while. Also, that stuff can be checked. You can find out when like water was turned on and when rent was done and all that stuff. So like, I don't know why the fuck they were trying to lie about that. But what drove, oh my gosh, watching this video and what, somebody sent it to me is, as I'm watching it, you can literally see where there are multiple GameStop bags and there's a fucking PS5. These kids are living in filth and squalor. They like are literally, you can tell they're starving, but you bought a PS5 that looks new. That was the only clean thing in the fucking house, basically, was the PS5 that you see in the background with the TV, and that, like, some GameStop bags. I saw at least 5 GameStop bags in there in the video, and it's like, this is what I'm talking about with video game addiction. Like, there's a difference in being a video game fan and lover and having it like as a massive hobby, like I do, and a lot of people do, and being an addict where you are putting basic human common sense, basic decency, stuff that you should be putting first. You're putting video games in front of it instead, like your children's basic needs. There's been times where I haven't, even though like I said, I own every system originally from the original Nintendo all the way up to the PS5. Like, I love video games. I grew up on them. My kids' middle names are after Kingdom Hearts. But there's been times where I haven't got to play games for a couple of weeks because I've been busy getting, life stuff, working and my kids and getting everything with them and stuff. Like, I could never imagine putting video games before your child. Like, that's, what the fuck? But you could tell they were, because the fact that the kids aren't clean, but don't worry, the PS5 looked like it was brand fucking new. And heck, we see the situation with Drew Jenkins with that, him literally putting video games above his children. The fact that she gave birth in the fucking car, because he didn't want to get off the game. So by the time they fucking started driving to the hospital, he gave birth, and then literally he's holding the fucking baby that's like 3 hours old while playing fucking PlayStation. That is. The amount of video game addicts we have nowadays is insane, because video games can be this amazing hobby and it can be so much fun. It can be educational. I have 2 neurodivergent children, one with a severe learning disorder when it comes to reading and stuff, and he has been able to thrive because of the Minecraft coding program and other video games that help with learning disabilities. There are video games can even teach people other languages now. They have that one game that, like, it teaches you another language. It's like 5 or 6 languages. I can't remember exactly. But I've seen the ads for it before. There's so, it can also be it can, if used properly, can be a stress reliever. It can be used to bring, long distance things. That something people can learn and have friendships with and combat loneliness and build stuff with their partners, people play The Sims and Minecraft and little beds and all that stuff. There's so many ways video games can be used positively. And you've got these pieces of shit out there, though, that instead turn it into absolute trash, give the fandom a bad name, ruin the fandom space for us. That is exactly what a plob is somebody who ruins a fandom space. I know it's a combination of the word poop and glob and slob, but you don't have to stink to be a plob. You can just have a personality that stinks. Speaking of stinks, just real quick, while I'm constantly encouraging people to bathe, and I would much rather you wear that perfume than not wear anything, can we please stop buying the TikTok perfume? Oh my gosh, I am in Orlando, and there's this one particular TikTok perfume that smelled good at first, but you know how it gets to the point where it's no longer good because so many people are wearing it, and I am not the only person that feels like this. I've smelled that perfume 100 times since we've been in Orlando, and they've got these signs at different outlets being oh, buy the TikTok viral perfume. The problem is it's not just me that's I'm tired of smelling it over and over and over again because it seems like everybody's wearing it. And it's kind of wearing off the effect of it being special and stuff. It's supposed to be, the grape titty ones where they're oh, it's with your titties out and feeding grape. Yeah, it no longer has that effect. It just kind of reminds me of the middle schoolers with the if everybody remembers warm vanilla sugar or love spell from high school, from Victoria's Secret or Bath and Body Works, and everybody had the same sprays and they just spray 100 times. That's what it's become. And I have heard 2 other people make comments about it. There was one lady walked by with it. She was the third person to walk by us in 5 minutes with it clearly on, wearing it, and this guy goes, oh my gosh, that perfume is ruining, he was complaining about it. Him and his buddy were sitting there talking about it, and I was yes, dude, at least it's not just me. And then another time we were walking, smelled it again, and somebody was that it's that fucking TikTok perfume again. I'm yes, it smelled so good at first, but there's thousands of scents, you guys. There are thousands of scents out there. Try some samples, go to a store, spray stuff. Find you a scent that you love. But we got to stop overdoing one particular scent, because it's like I said, back in my high school, it was freaking Bath and Body Works Warm Vanilla Sugar and Love Spell from Victoria's Secret. And it got to the point where it just burns out and it doesn't smell as good anymore. To everybody, because it's so overdone, it's no longer special. It's important to have a signature scent, but Lord, but if it's that, or you not showering at all, if you're not going to wear anything, I'd rather you wear the overdone thing than not wear anything. At high school, I remember Axe body spray was another one too. There were certain scents that drive me insane because they smelled really good at first, and then everybody started trying to wear Axe body spray at the card shop instead of bathing, and then the card shop would just smell of shit and Axe body spray basically. Speaking of scents, there are the Bath and Body Works sale is going on right now. I think it's $2-3 for sprays and soaps and deodorants. I'm just, in case anybody needs that. Also, the Bath and Body Works outlets and the Victoria's Secret outlets. I went into Victoria's Secret outlet today. I had a really weird experience. I had this creepy guy who was following me around and sniffing me, and then was standing in the way of me trying to get stuff. It was a whole fucking issue, to the point I went out and got my husband, because I was about to fucking crash out in the middle of the store. I'm I don't need to get arrested in Florida. So went out, grabbed my husband and my kids, because they were outside waiting, and ironically, I think my son scared him off before my husband even did. My 5-year-old walking with me, back in, the guy ran off. Thank God, because that guy was a creep. Literally was standing when I was trying to look at stuff on lower shelves and it was bent over, he kept trying to walk over and basically have his crotch right in my face. He literally stiffed my hair, was following me in the line and everything. So let me go ahead and address that video that I made. If you haven't seen, there's this trend where it's take a sip of water and calm down. And I made 2 of them. I actually have a 3rd one to post too. I made a serious one talking about the restraining order, and I do show my purple gun. For people who were confused too, because I had a couple people who were I thought you had Rugers. I do prefer Rugers, but I saw a purple one, and my husband bought it for me as a gift one year, because I was oh, purple. I know I'm not much of a purple freak that I have a purple gun, but I do typically prefer Rugers. That is actually what I recommend is Rugers or Glocks to most people. Mostly Rugers over Glocks. For people who want self-defense and they're new to it. There's many reasons for that. But I also made a second one being silly because people were showing their straps, and I was like, let me show my other kind of strap. And I showed a green Monster Lover Bad Dragon style, not Bad Dragon itself. I will never support Bad Dragon. If you don't know, Bad Dragon at one point even threatened me with a cease and desist. I apologize if you hear background noise. My husband's in the shower. But yes, if you've not seen that story time, that was from a couple of years ago. So Bad Dragon, if you don't know, is a company that makes obscure, non-traditional adult toys, right? Now I prefer them just because I am autistic and it's a texture issue. I have no shame, so that is not me like denying it. I have no shame if you look like my video. I literally announced my adult search history just because these incels were threatening to blackmail me with my search history. They're like, we have your search history. So I was like, let me just tell the whole internet. I don't care on my corn preferences over here. But I prefer those items because of my texture issues with my autism. So those are made with silicone, like a very specific kind of silicone is how they make a lot of those ones, and they're different shapes and stuff. So I love the silicone. I will fully admit, there's been times when like I'm super overstimulated and I'm working and not in the office or anything, but I'm working from home and my kids are already in bed and stuff, and I will use one of them as a fidget toy. I'm like sitting there just suctioning it to the freaking desk and just fidgeting with it because it's that like soft silicone. I just want to be clear on that because I have had people who have seen that. I have, since posting that video as a joke, I have had so many people send me recommendations and being like, oh my gosh, have you heard this Monster Lover site? And I'm like, I support you guys, whatever floats your boat, as long as you're consenting adults, but I'm not actually like into the monster loving thing. I do love Spinner. That is why I got the green one. I love Spinner from My Hero Academia, which once again is a man who has a genetic deformity, basically, is how that works if you haven't seen My Hero Academia. So yes, he is technically a lizard man, but he's also a man. He's not, he's a lizard man. So that's the closest you'll get. But I made a joke about it too. I probably not held myself making more jokes about it because somebody was like, why is it green and veiny? And I was like, oh, it's because you guys caught me. I actually had my boyfriend make a mold of his real one. And I said that as a joke. And then I said, here's a picture of my boyfriend. And it was me taking a picture with Shrek at Universal. And I was like, yep, this is my boyfriend. You guys caught me. It's just a mold of his, making jokes. So now I somehow made that. Yeah, I was trying to make a joke and now it's been made worse because now I have people sending me Shrek porn recommendations. I kid you not, somebody sent me a Shrek porn recommendation. But to get into the Bad Dragon and situation of why I ended up getting threatened with a cease and desist. I've never been served a cease and desist, though, because what I said was true and I can prove it. But Bad Dragon, that company, a lot of people will associate because they're like the OG creator, basically. They're the first big company to make them. They make the Monster Lover type toys and non-traditional adult items, right? The problem is the creator of Bad Dragon is a horrific person. He made an entire website that was teaching people how to fuck actual animals, which is a whole different thing. He was super bestiality, zoophile. He was even like on the website telling people how to like drug the animals and pets and yeah, just do disgusting, horrible things, which is why we do not support that company. But what ended up getting me the almost cease and desist, like the threat of a cease and desist, was they set up at conventions. So there are conventions like Hallmat that are more adult themed, even though Hallmat is technically not an 18 plus con. It's basically one, it's basically one without the thing. You will not really see a lot of children there, and most people that do bring children there, people are like, what the fuck, why do you have a child at this particular con? Because a lot of the stuff is 18, especially once you hit a certain time of night. It is like 99% 18 plus panels at once you hit a certain time of night. And during the day, there's a lot of adult, themed panels, or even like most of them even are freaking PG-13. There's a lot of partying. They have multiple raves. They have multiple after parties. It's a party convention. And so Bad Dragon sets up at cons like that. They've even set up before in like this one convention in Texas that's not a party convention, but does have like an 18 plus hall at night. Once again, it's one of those ones that at a certain time of night it just becomes 18 plus panels. So when they set up, they will have a giant black curtain that they goes around their booth, because obviously they can't have that stuff out in the open for, vendor hall, because the vendor hall is not 18 plus. They actually had it out and open to the one in Texas, because Texas does have an 18 plus vendor hall where you have to be 18 to even get in the room, and then all the 18 plus vendors have stuff out in the open. I've talked about that before because I actually found somebody had made fan art of me that was inappropriate. We'll get into that here in a second. But they have this giant curtain set up, and they will have a line form outside, and they'll have somebody who is checking IDs before you go into their particular booth. So when this happened at Hallmat, and I did this multiple years in a row, I would purposely wait until there was the security had went inside of the booth, and I would run over to the line and I would tell people real quickly. I'd be like, hey, please look up this company before you go buy anything from them. Not only are they unethical pieces of shit who, support bestiality and stuff, also all of their stuff is overpriced because they're the OGs. They still charge like OG prices back when it was rare to get. So like, hundreds of dollars for one that you can get basically anywhere now. There's like mainstream tentacles and that kind of stuff, right? And I would tell them, hey, the Fairville Mega Adult Store is literally 15 minutes down the road. They have ethical companies that have all of these different ones. Uber Prime has a whole setup in their store. It's a small business. They're ethical. They have they're also like less than half the price for the exact same thing. They're also ethically made, body safe. They do military discount at that store too. They sell from multiple brands. Like, I would run over and basically you would see customers literally leaving the line. And I did this repeatedly. They started to catch on. I did get an email like after the con, the third year that it happened. I think it was the third year that it happened. I got an email from that company. They had found my Instagram on my old Instagram and was like, hey, you have to stop, blah, 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 because I had also had videos up of it. And I'm like, I don't have to stop doing anything because you still like, there's proof of this. This isn't slander. People lie on the internet all of the time and get away with it. And you're sitting here threatening me with a cease and desist for telling the truth about you. So yeah, that's not gonna work. And that there's thousands of people who know about this. There was a Reddit forum at one point. There's been so many videos that you can find on this. That company is super unethical. Please never buy from them. There's another company, the Uber Prime, but there's also like Monster Lovers Anonymous and like all kinds of like really good ethical companies that sell this stuff now. Heck, they even have some brands that like Adam and Eve's, from what I've been told. I think I saw one time. Was it Adam and Eve's or so? I think it was Adam and Eve's. There's plenty of places that you can get them. I will say for the adult mega store that's like 3 stories in Orlando, that is not just for adult toys. They also have a lot of outfits like cosplay and costumes and stuff. I just got a Velma costume. And not like the full nude one or anything like that, like an actual Velma costume. It is a little sexier, but like it's still a costume you could wear out to a party and stuff. And that was in the clearance section. Like, I love them. They do military discount again too. They also teach like kink education classes for free and stuff, or sometimes they charge depending on the class, but they also have like a lot of free education stuff. They're a really nice store. And once again, 3 stories. There's a lot in there. It is like the only adult store I've ever seen that does not carry those junk non-body safe novelty toys, which, just a heads up if you don't know, if something like that cheap stuff at Spencer's and stuff, do not use that. Don't use that. It is not body safe. It will either end up with, best case scenario, you're going to end up in an ER. I've seen that plenty of times. Or where it's just like stuck or something, or it's malfunctioned because of, those are made crap, those little $20 toys. Or worse, it can literally cause things like infertility and cancer and stuff because of the material that it's made with is not body safe. People electrocute themselves, people get stuck, the toys fall apart, shrapnel, like pieces. I don't know why I said shrapnel, but the pieces of it like can come off. The dye can get into your skin. Like those, there's a reason it says novelty on it. And the ones from Spencer, not just Spencer's, but a lot of places that sell these like $10, $20 toys, it'll say novelty on the bottom or in fine print because even though they know you're going to buy it for, what it's used for, they know by putting novelty, it takes legal risk off of them, and you can't sue them when you get injured or severely hurt because of these things. So just keep that in mind, just a quick safety reminder. But yes, I posted the video making the joke. I even made a joke. See, my problem is I made too many jokes about it, and now I have these people who are sending me like monster lover stuff, and I'm like, that's great for you, but it's just, I'm not really big into the Spinner. Spinner's the only one, I guess, that technically counts as a monster lover. But like the rest of it, I literally had somebody send me a Shrek porn, like fan fiction. They were like, oh, and I'm like, I was just joking, because I made the Shrek joke, and then I also made the joke about how most people want a Subway sandwich and I want to spin a Rocky one. Like, I need to stop joking so much, because Lord, the things that come in my DMs after I make some of these jokes. Okay, let's get off the dirty stuff and go back to regular conversation. I just had to clear that up because the amount of weird DMs I was getting. Speaking of weird, I was technically I was a little bit of a weirdo. I had a chronically online moment at Universal because I came across a plob that was standing in the way. Freaking, oh my gosh. He had a brony shirt on. You could smell him. Like, dude looked like the stereotype, and I was like, oh gosh, this is why like the normal bronies can't like to admit to people that they're bronies, because he literally I could see he had a pony. I don't know which pony it was, but he had a pony figure in his pocket too, because he had the cargo shorts, and you could see them, like you could see the outline. He looked about like mid-30s, and I could see it, and he was at Universal, and he was standing in the way. Like, he was literally, like people will be walking, instead of pulling off to the side, he just stood there talking to his buddy. You could smell the guy. Multiple people were like making faces and stuff as they were walking around him, because he literally wouldn't move. He's just standing right in the middle of the walkway, just being a dick, having a conversation with his friend. And as I walked by, without fucking my brain, instead of keeping it in, my brain out loud was like, oh my fucking God, get some manners, you Dollar Tree Chris Chan. I literally called this man a Dollar Tree Chris Chan. Thank God he did not hear me, because it was loud. He kind of like looked over for a second, but I don't think he actually heard me, because he didn't say anything to me. But I literally was like, get some fucking manners, Dollar Tree Chris Chan. Oh my God. Because he did kind of look like Chris Chan, like in Chris Chan's younger days, like in her younger days, pre-transition and stuff. Like, I mean, she hasn't physically transitioned really, so like, but you know what I mean, like, whenever she was younger, look like Chris Chan, like a Dollar Tree version. And I just said it without fucking hesitation as I went around the dude, and I'm just like, thank God he didn't hear me. Like, he did kind of look at me for a second, but like I said, I don't think he actually heard what I said, because it was loud. Sometimes I need to go touch grass. I'm always telling everybody else to go touch grass and get a job and, hydrate and stuff, but I might need to touch a little grass, because Lord, the fact that I said it without hesitation, like, I did not mean to. Sometimes stuff that's supposed to be in your head just comes out. Before I forget, I do want to remind everybody to be safe with the new Pokemon card drop. One second. Immersions is what it's called. So the new drop, and there's like Eevee cards and stuff, which I love Pokemon, but I'm not into them. I haven't been into the cards in years, since I was a teenager, but I have been sent so many scalper plob videos of these guys doing the same thing that they've been doing for months, of like pissing themselves in line and fighting people over them. So please be safe. If you haven't seen my video a while back about that, I had my own encounter with a scalper, because I didn't know that kind of stuff was going so badly, and me and two other moms just wanted to get some cards for our kids at Costco. Apparently they're going to be doing like a thing online, I guess, I don't know, or might have already been done, where they were going to do it on the Costco app, because the scalpers got so bad they don't carry them in the stores anymore, which sucks, because for years, like, I'd literally just buy these big packs and Sam's Club or Costco, either one, and get like a big pack that had like big box that had like multiple packs, and give them, and the stockings for the kids, that way, because I'd have get multiple in there. But yeah, definitely not doing that anymore, because they don't have them there. But I have seen so many plob videos of these guys, acting insane over at scalpers. over these cards with this new immersions thing. So please be safe out there. Like, the fact that I literally had to show my gun, like, had to show that man that I was carrying to get him to get his hands off of my friends and me trying to shove us and grab that stuff. And yes, if you don't know, my friend did press charges for assault and everything because the cops did get involved with that whole situation. Like, over some Pokemon cards. It's so insane. So please, shop online, do whatever you can to be safe. Please don't, risk your safety with these pieces of shit around here, or around in general. Like, please, I've mostly seen it in the US. I haven't seen any videos from other countries, but I might be going over there too, who knows. Please just be safe. No Pokemon cards is worth getting hurt or anything. And to the scalpers, I hope that you fucking hit a tree on your way home. I'm not saying that I hope you die. I just, I hope that your car, gets totaled, and that you break your leg so that you're stuck sitting at home thinking about your actions and how insane it is to be out here fighting for fucking Pokemon cards as a grown adult. And you can't drive to the store anymore because your car is totaled. That is my hope for the scalpers. Sit there and sit at home. As I said, I hope you hit a tree or something where you don't hurt nobody else, but you total your car and break your leg so you're stuck sitting in bed thinking about, maybe how you should fucking grow the hell up and not be fucking crazy over Pokemon card. I know, seriously, to resell, like, and the resale stuff is insane. I've seen some of it. Oh my gosh. Like, I have no idea how Christmas is going to work because I really want to get my son, because he loves Pokemon cards. I want to get him some nice boxes and stuff. But since I'm not going to be able to do that from Sam's and Costco anymore, I'm going to try to get him, I want to get him, like, actual nice boxes for his birthday in November and for Christmas. But, like, I have no idea how that's going to work because I really don't feel like, trying to hunt down, and I'm definitely not going to, like, pay a scalper for extra costs or anything. So I'm going to figure out some good packs and stuff by then. I've had a couple people send me tips. If anybody else has any, that'd be great. Speaking of, it was my youngest's birthday today. And Lord, that boy is spoiled. The amount of dinosaurs and everything he got to do. And then tomorrow, they don't know this, but we've been telling them for months that, like, because they keep seeing the Universal Epic, and we saw it last year because they had the little display thing before the park opened. We kept telling them, the passes don't work. Our passes don't work for that third park yet because it doesn't. But so we weren't going to get to go to it, but we're actually going tomorrow in the morning. And that is why I'm finishing this up as soon as I can, because we are going to be, I bought day tickets for the whole day for us to get to go to Mario and everything. I do have some branded content too, but I did get the passes and stuff too for us to get to go while we're on this trip. But I am also going to be making some branding content for them, so that is great. That was a amazing offer to have that on top of everything, considering how much those tickets are going for, dear Lord. I am hoping, since this one's got a lot more gaming, the How to Train Your Dragon, the Mario, the Harry Potter, all that stuff. I am really hoping that, I've heard some rumors that there's a lot of guys and women, guys and girls going to the Mario particular area, and there's been some stink issues, and I am really hoping that turns out to not be true, at least for us tomorrow. Please, plob shower too. I'm not trying to, like, have my kids over here trying to just enjoy Mario, Mario World, and y'all stinking up the place. Speaking of, oh my Lord, speaking of birthdays and stuff, we go to the Nike Clearance Center every time we're here, for school shoes and basketball shoes and stuff for my sons, like, because the Nike Clearance Center always has amazing deals, right? And they also do military discount. Tell me why my 9-year-old, it's bad enough that he's, like, super into Pokemon and wants, like, the nicer packs now. Like, he's getting, instead of just wanting random cards, he, like, actually wants specific packs now, and boxes and whatnot. But this little boy looks me right in the face, and when we're in the store, he goes, I want some Jordans or some Air Force. Excuse me? I'm sorry. The little boy, who has a shirt on inside out half the time, tries to leave the house in pajama pants or in regular shirt, or like pajama shirt and regular pants. But you know what Jordans are. You know what Air Forces are. Like Air Ones or whatever the heck they're. I don't even know what they're called. But, like, he, like, was like, yeah, I specifically want Jordans, blah, blah, blah. How are you both a Pokemon collector and now you're trying to be a sneaker sneaker freak or whatever. What are they called? Are they called sneaker freaks or something? The sneakerheads, whatever. I don't know what they're called, but like sneaker collectors. How are you trying to be both? Boy, you better go get your 5 PhDs and a law degree. Those are both very expensive hobbies, and I'm glad that that's one of the reasons why it's important to introduce your kids to like Pokemon and stuff as a child, because if you get them addicted to Pokemon cards, then they'll never be able to afford to get on drugs, okay, because they can't afford drugs and Pokemon cards. So you got to get them hooked on Pokemon cards, D&D, Warhammer, all that stuff. That way they can't afford drugs when they're older, so you don't have to worry about them becoming addicts. But a sneakerhead too? Dang, boy, you better get all the degrees, all the education. You better go become Elon Musk's next spouse or something. I don't know what to tell you, boy. How you gonna be addicted to I just think it's funny because he's already got the Pokemon habit, but now the sneakerhead too. Like, the more about you. I was like, also, once again, how do you know about shoes, but I can't get you to freaking wear matching clothes half the time? Like, that makes no dang sense, boy. But I love him, whatever he's into. I'm gonna help him learn and all that stuff about his hobbies, and their safe hobbies and stuff, so that's fine. It's just I'm glad he has passions. I will always support his passions, but dear Lord, this boy y'all pray that he ends up with a really good job when he's older, because Pokemon cards and sneakers, Lord. Okay, well, I am gonna get off here for the night. I know it's like 3 minutes early, but a reminder for everybody to stay safe, stay hydrated, make sure you are bathing, please, and don't be a plob, whether it is through physical smell or personality. Please don't be stinky. And as always, I am a Kindle with interchangeable accessories for their pleasure, and I really hope we find husband number 2 for the Orlando situation, because that piece of shit needs to be taken down.